Guys, welcome back to the Hey Charlie Cooking channel. And if this is your first time visiting, be sure to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. Today I am going to be making some wonderful salmon crispy tenders. So let's get started. So I have here already pre-prepared for you guys 2 cups of flour. I have a cup of cornmeal. I have a tablespoon of onion powder, a tablespoon of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons and a half of Slap Your Mama. And the Slap Your Mama is the white pepper blend. I decided to go with the white pepper blend so that I wouldn't have to add more pepper. So this is up to you if you want to go with the regular Slap Your Mama seasoning. You're welcome to do that and add black pepper in. And of course I had to put in my Chef Paul Padon, my magic poultry seasoning, and I put in 1 teaspoon of that. So what I'm going to do is, rather than putting this seasoning into another bowl, I've decided to just pre-mix and put everything together. So we're going to stir this in really good, and your flour should be looking colorful, not white. So you want to make sure that you have your seasonings blended in really nice, almost like a brown color, because you know that your seasonings are in. Usually when you're preparing anything in flour, it makes it harder to season. So in this case, you guys can see that I've added my flavors, my seasonings, and pretty good because my flour is nice and brown. Of course, you don't want it salty, so I always suggest to taste your flour just by, you know, dabbing just a little bit on your finger and seeing if it's good. If it's not the way that you want it to taste, you can always add more in or less, whatever is best for you. Okay, so we've got that pretty much mixed in, and I'm going to taste this and see how it tastes. That's good. What I taste more right now is I taste the onion powder, which is coming through pretty good, but I also want to add in a little bit more Old Bay seasoning, and I'm going to say that is a 1/4 teaspoon, and I'm going to add in some more Slap Your Mama, and that's about a teaspoon. Definitely the spices are coming through. I can taste the hotness from the Slap Your Mama. And I'm going to try this again. Perfect. All right. So over here I have 2 eggs, and I'm going to be beating these till they get to the desired fluffiness that I want. So funny, I actually was inspired by one of my nieces. I have tons of family, and I have quite a bit of nieces and nephews, but I have one that lives down south, and she was like, "Auntie, have you tried deep fried salmon?" And I'm like, "Girl, no, I ain't never had that." I've actually tried this a couple times and it turned out amazing. So I'm going to show you all how to prepare or finish preparing what I've made, and we're going to get started. So we've got this whipped up, and next I'm going to be adding some more Old Bay to my salmon. Now this is skinless. There's nothing on the bottom, and I'm putting this on here because what happens is when you put this on here and you cut your fillets, you're going to be able to taste the seasoning coming through. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut these into strips, and I'm going to cut this in half. So then we've got some real tender bites there, and then I'm going to cut it again. That way it'll make nice for dipping. Okay, I'm going to add my salmon pieces into my egg batter. I'm just going to put them all in here together and just kind of move them around so that they're nice and saturated. And that's what you want, because I'm going to explain to you guys that when you put any type of whether it's poultry, fish, you know, that you're preparing, the egg gives it a crispiness. So if you're wondering what makes your fish crispy or your chicken crispy when you're adding egg, this is the key. So I'm just going to give this a nice little saturation, and then I'm going to turn it over to my flour. So here I'm going to put it into my flour. This literally doesn't take long to make, especially when you want to come home and just prepare something for dinner really fast. It's like, okay, what can I make? And the more coating you have on it, the crispier it'll taste. If you want to double dip, you can. You can also put it back in here, and you can put it back into your batter if you just want to have that extra layer of crispiness, which some people like. You know how the chicken tenders are, they're a little crispy. Plus I don't want to waste all my egg. I hate to waste stuff. Alright guys, so here we are getting ready to put our salmon tenders into our hot oil. So I'll be dropping these down. A good indication of when your salmon tenders are ready, or actually anything that you are frying deep, like a deep fryer, they usually float to the top, and that kind of lets you know when they're almost ready. Alright my foodie babes, so I am getting ready to take out my salmon tenders. As you can see, they're nice and crispy. They smell so good. I will be preparing a sauce. And you can get really creative. I mean, you can make like a honey sauce. You can make a teriyaki sauce. You can do a barbecue sauce. And there's so many kind of dipping sauces that you can make. You can do a honey Dijon mustard sauce. So next I'm going to be preparing a nice dipping sauce for our salmon tenders. So what you want to do is chop up some garlic really fine. I'm also going to be adding some raw ginger. You get all of this chopped up really fine. Alright. Next we're going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to be getting our eye going. So we're going to let that melt down some. So again, like I said, you can make all types of dipping sauces for your salmon tenders or your chicken tenders or whatever kind of tenders. And I'll be doing a segment on different barbecue dipping sauces. Different types of sauces will work and pair well with different types of meals that you're making. Just stir that in really good. Now, for this, if you would like to add barbecue sauce on this one, you're welcome to do that. If you have barbecue sauce, you can, instead of the hot sauce, you can add your barbecue sauce, still using the same ingredients, which is the garlic and the ginger and the butter. If you do not like the ginger and the garlic, then you can just omit that and use butter and barbecue sauce and your honey. Or you can use brown sugar in place of the honey. Okay, so here's what you want right here. You want that to be like more on the brown side, and that's what we want. So we're going to turn our heat down to low. We're going to add in, now I like Old Bay hot sauce. And we're going to add a 1/4 cup, and we're going to add about a 1/3 cup of honey. Honey is also good for you. You just want to give that a nice stir. And again, always taste your food. A good cook tastes her food, or he tastes his food. Because then it lets you know how to adjust your temperatures or how to adjust the sweetness. So I'm going to try this. Very, very good. So we just want this sauce to warm. You want to stir it. I would say you can probably warm this so that all the flavors are infused together for about a minute. You want to keep stirring it. And so it's going to come to a little bit of a simmer. And this is what you want your glaze to look like. Alright, so we are done with that. We're going to remove this from our heat. Alright guys, so we have already plated our salmon tenders. And we're going to put our sauce over top. This is a honey glaze, hot sauce, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of spicy. Voila! And there you have it. My wonderful, delicious, amazing salmon tenders.